Welcome to Crafts and Minis. Thanks for taking a look this week at what I was able to finish in the hobby. Hopefully every week you get a little Monday motivation. This was a lot of fun this week. Some ups and downs though, and I'm not going to lie, there were some downs, but it all came together for the video. So I wanted to show you what I was able to get done. A lot of fun in getting these together is trying out new things and trying out some old things. When it comes to some old things, here are some miniatures that I've painted before, but I wanted to get some more done. These are old Warhammer Beastmen plastic sculpts, all the same pose. I actually have probably around 100 of these for a Kings of War army that I was going to do, and here's 4. So there you go. I've already painted up some of these where I converted them to have a different weapon and a shield, but I like these with the halberds. Those are really cool, and they were super quick to paint, fast and dirty, which always works out nice for me. Then also this week, I was able to get done this big old guy. Now, I painted him to be a gold golem of some sort, like a dwarven golem, some sort of construct, you know, and he worked out really well. I really should prepare before I shoot these videos to make sure I could tell you where to get these. This is a Resin Mini from a shop that I got online, and I'll try to find out and put a link down in the description. How about that? But he is a beautiful sculpt. Look at that. You can't argue with this sculpt. What you can argue with is durability. You know what? I don't like to express like super strong opinions when it comes to miniatures, but I get miniatures to game with, not for display. And I'm just going to have to go away from some Resin Minis that have parts that are thin. So you see right there, there's the join between the hand and the hammer. That broke. That's the second weapon break I've had on Resin Minis that I've been working with. And yeah, I was trying to get him, I hot glue him to a stick so I can paint him and all that. And maybe I just don't want to do that anymore with these metal fender washers because it is harder to get off. But in trying to get it off, I broke that. And, you know, if it breaks when I'm doing that, it's going to eventually break in a game. And that's just a hassle. Anybody who has ever gamed with miniatures that, you know, are a little more fragile, you know what I'm talking about. But can you argue with that? That is a beautiful, beautiful miniature. And I used my technique of the gold metallic Sharpie to paint him. So that's gold metallic Sharpie over primer, and then I did a sepia wash, and then I highlighted with the gold metallic Sharpie, and I think he looks really cool. So that was a lot of fun. Now, this is getting a little crazy, right? Remember, dragons are last. Dragons are last. Okay, so these two miniatures are both from the Funko company, who make the Funko Pop bobbleheads, and I put them on 2-inch bases, these fender washers that are awesome. And you can probably guess what these are from. These are from Stranger Things. These are the Demogorgon in Stranger Things, one with the face closed and one with the face open. And I got 6 of those done, 3 of each. And these were fun to paint up. These actually come from the mystery boxes of Funkos that you can buy. So they do these little boxes for all sorts of different like pop culture properties, right? Stranger Things and all these different movies and video games and whatnot. And you don't know what you're getting when you buy them. So I went on eBay and picked up all these, and they worked out really well for my needs. You know, they'll be large alien-looking creatures. I can use them for all sorts of stuff. I could have painted them up like plants. That was one thing I could have done, but I was like, oh no, that's a little too obvious. So I just wanted to paint them purple because I love that Purple Lake ink. It's a beautiful color from Daler Rowney. So those worked out really well. Got 6 of those done. So the count so far, that's 11, if I'm doing my math right for this week. Here is number 12. Okay, if you follow me on Twitter, you've seen this guy. I did a post where I showed the before, and here is the after. The before is a Funko Pop bobblehead of Doomsday from Man of Steel, or Superman vs. Batman, one of the newer DC movies. And I tore his head off, right? So he comes with this massive bobblehead. I tore that off, and then I sculpted this head on there. So if you're thinking, well, that's not the greatest sculpt, you're right, because I sculpted it, but I was really pleased with it. because it was like I was working on 2 sculpts on the same day. So I don't know if technically this is my first sculpt of a head. I tore off the other one because I wasn't happy with it on the other mini I was doing, but I really like this guy. And I noticed now I got a little bit of red on his chin there. That's okay. Crazy fun to do. Use some beads for his eyes that I then sculpted around. Tried to match up the bumps on the back, right? And then you can see it gets crude because that's where I sculpted it. But when I gave it a uniform paint job, I think it turned out really well. And that's on a gargantuan size, 4-inch base, 100 millimeter. And then dragons last. Okay, so be careful. I already told you I broke one of these guys already. Okay, dragon. This is a Reaper Bones dragon. And I'm sorry I forget what the name of this particular dragon is. It comes in either an opaque or translucent material. And he painted up really well. You'll notice he's a gold dragon. And I'm not like a dragon zoologist, so I don't know all my dragons really well. I know gold's one of them. And so what I mean by I don't know like all their different personalities and stuff. But I just painted this guy up today because he had been sitting unpainted for too long. And I'm like, you know what? I got that gold Sharpie. What if we get crazy? And this is what happens when you get crazy, right? This guy was painted with a gold Sharpie marker. And then I did a sepia wash and then used that gold Sharpie marker to highlight. And it's always weird on camera up close like this. But man, I gotta tell you, I'm happy for a Sharpie paint job. Come on. Come on. I love it. And this week, if you follow me on Twitter too, you'll see a picture of a bunch of unpainted dragons. Sorry, I'm just trying to get the dragon back in frame. A bunch of unpainted dragons that I assembled and based, and I'm working on the base texture right now that I wanted to get all together. I have a local convention in the fall that I'm going to get ready for in September, and when I'm shooting this video, it's the end of April. And last year I had 2 tables to sell stuff at, which was a lot of fun and just get to know people. And I noticed like I had one one red dragon that I painted up, and then like a Hydra and some other big pieces, and all the big stuff sold. And I could tell that if I had more dragons, people would gobble them up. And I want to meet a need out there locally for folks that might want to take a look at getting some painted miniatures on the cheap. And that's right, I sold them for way too cheap compared to probably what I could have. But it's all good. Every time I do a miniature, I do new techniques, try something a little bit different. Maybe it's with the basing or, Sharpie markers, whatever. But I have a ton of fun doing this hobby, of course. I have a ton of fun sharing it with you. So I just really appreciate you checking it out. It's Monday, still where I'm at. So I wanted to shoot a video and show you what I'm working on. I don't really know what I'm going to be working on this coming week. I have to pick some stuff out. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, and I wanted to prime some stuff, even some of these dragons, because that'd be awesome to work on some of them. But we'll see. So thanks so much for checking this out. Hope you're getting after your hobby. As always, paint up something this week. At least get your brushes out or locate them if you don't know where they are. And try something, because it's a great week to get into it. I know a lot of people like to hobby during the winter because it's maybe not as nice out where you're at. I hobby year-round. It's a blast. And it's always nice just to, especially when the weather gets nicer, if you prime with spray cans, rattle cans, then just watch for those nice days and get after it. Have some stuff assembled, ready to get primed. And I am going to do a video coming up on a sealer that I'm starting to really like that I need to do. None of these miniatures that you see in front of you have been sealed yet with it. But when I test it out a little bit more, I'm going to do a video on a new sealer that I think you will enjoy. Save you some bucks and give you a nice dull coat on your miniature. So thanks for checking this out. Go get after your hobby.